Remember to turn the mute off. It's a miracle in itself, I promise you. Hello, welcome again. Let's turn this music down. Welcome again. Obviously going to be a little bit of time before people start sort of filtering in to the chat and stuff. So I'm just having a look on here and we shall have a see. Now, yeah, he says, thinking he might know what he's doing. Right, okay. I'm just going to ignore everything else. I'm going to keep an eye on the chat. That's about it. And forget how many people might be watching or what might be going on. I might be talking for ages to nobody. That's a distinct possibility. I've actually put this, just a last minute thing, always like last minute, try and make things complicated for myself. I've actually put this on Twitch as well. I thought, well, why not? On Twitch, I'm down as Vicarious BIG, just so you know. Hi, James. How you doing, buddy? Thank you. Welcome back as well. Cheers. Appreciate you coming in again. I kind of blew on two again. A returning person for the live. So nice to see you. Just want to say I'm doing it on Twitch as well. Vicarious BIG is sort of my gaming sort of name that I use and stuff like that. So that's why it's not on Isle of Man Vicar on Twitch. I'm not going to set up another channel. Apart from not being bothered to, it'd be like too much stuff to run and passwords to remember. So I just thought I'd mess around with. Let's move that over here. I've got some chat. My chat box that I'm going to put to one side that should pick up. He says he's just lost it. Excellent. That's what I wanted to do. It's exactly what I wanted to do. No, there it is. Let's change the size of that. Move it over here. I'm all right. I'm good. It's been an interesting week, interesting day. Been a month though, obviously, since I was last on. I can't believe it's only been a month. It doesn't feel like that long ago. When we were live here before. So we're on Twitch under Vicarious BIG. It was some name I used when I was streaming on there when I started. I kind of went through a couple of different names after that and then went back to it. I just went. I did a few clever, funny names and stuff, and I'm just not doing that anymore. Oh, let's turn my phone down. Do you know what always happens? It'll get to like 9 o'clock at night, and my phone will start ringing. My landline. There's no time off. I'll see if it rings. I probably would answer it as well. Actually, to be honest with you. There we go. Louise, hi. Welcome. Nice to see you here. So what's the point? What's the point? What is the point of doing these things? Well, the point really is it's a few things we can talk about. It's basically I can waffle on for hours, and you know that most of my videos aren't edited, and I just can walk for 6 hours and talk for 6 hours. So pretty much that's what I do. Lots of my stuff isn't about. A lot of it's listening. Let's do my job is to listen to people. It absolutely is. But a lot of the time I'm talking about stuff. I'm giving presentations. I'm giving sermons. I'm doing all that sort of thing. So a huge part of my role, my job in my previous careers as well has been a lot of talking involved in it. So I thought I'd do a live one because I can talk for Britain. Even though I live in the British Isles now, Isle of Man, I should say. It's just that kind of chance to chat about all sorts of stuff. So the sort of things that I cover, or we can talk about if you want to ask any questions, is anything to do with obviously the hiking and walking and wild camping. You can talk about gear, you can talk about cooking, you can talk about what my favourite setups are, my tents are, sleeping bags, gear, whatever you want to talk about. So that's that sort of stuff. Places on the Isle of Man, people talking about the Isle of Man in general. So lots of people have been in contact with me. This last month I've had quite a few people like contacting me quietly or meeting me IRL to talk about things like moving to the Isle of Man, what it's like to live here genuinely, realistically. Should you move to the Isle of Man? What's it like to visit, to come on a trip here? Where can you stay? What can you do? So that kind of, I act as the unofficial Isle of Man tourist board. I'm sure they'd be chuffed. But so we could chat about Isle of Man stuff. We can talk about faith if you want to. Really happy to talk about faith anytime. That's kind of what I do. and whatever it is whatever it is you fancy really. So there's no set rules. There's no you have to talk about this. You have to talk about that. But it's just a chance to have a chat. So go ahead. I don't really need headphones on. I've turned the music off, so I don't know why I need headphones on at all. But what we'll do, so I'm using Restream to stream to. You can talk technical stuff as well if you like. So you can talk about like what I'm using to do the streams. I don't know that anyone will come on Twitch because it was quite quiet last time I was on there gaming. It's been a while since I've done some gaming, but yeah, let's chat. Where I'm from originally, yeah, sure. So I'm from Kent. I was born in a place called Rainham in Kent, and kind of grew up there as well. And then so a big chunk of my life was spent in Rainham, and a couple of places around there. So I got married to my wife, who also lived in was from Kent, but was originally from a place called the Isle of Grain, and yeah, so we kind of got together, got married, and then the adventures kind of really started. So I had a call into ministry, so I moved around a bit. So I've lived in Oxfordshire, London, Greater London, really, Bexley way, which is inside the M25, and just on, but not right in the centre. But we're quite near like places like Greenwich and Woolwich and Plumstead and places. Bexley is the main area. You know, it was Met Police, and it was a London Borough Council and things like that. So yeah, we lived in London for a bit, and then we've gone on this. We had spent some time in Oxford where I was training. So the family moved there for a while, and we've just moved about a bit, and then we've kind of come to the Isle of Man, so we settled down here. And yeah, I like talking about the adventure. I think there's something about not feeling like you're tied to just one place your whole life, and exploring what the rest of the world has to offer, and just about anything is possible. So if you say, do you know what, I'd really like to move to the south of France and live there, what's write down anything that's stopping you and work out how you can get around those barriers, because literally anything is possible. And we've always had this, when we knew ministry might be in difficult areas, and Bexley was tough. Where I ministered there was pretty tough, but we always had this little dream. We went, oh, wouldn't it be nice when we're older if we'd love to live by a harbour. All our holidays were like coastal holidays, a lot in the UK, but these little kind of Cornish villages or Welsh coastal villages and things like that, and harbours and beaches and stuff like that. And we're now living the dream, if you like. It's a bit different here as well. So it's not quite living on the coast of Wales, and a bit busier than that. More life to it, I'd say. It's not so tourist led, so it gets quieter in the winter months and out of season, but it's still a living, working community, because tourism here is just, it's not dead, it's just not what it once was. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, just if you're watching, whatever you're watching on, whether you're watching on the Twitch, whatever that is. There's no viewers, it says at the moment, so probably not. Or if you're on here on YouTube, just ask anything you like. Tell me what subject. I'll keep waffling on, and if you bring up a different subject, we'll change subject. I'm down here to kind of be here for 2 hours. I nearly said 10 for some reason. That'd be a monster. But here for 2 hours. If everyone decides, I've had enough of this, and everyone's gone and there's nobody here, then I will cut it short, because this is about, being there, being able to answer the stuff that might have come up. You're from the Isle of Man. Yeah, James. It's a really different kind of place. Really different kind of place. So talking about like living here, the difference. See, when we were in Wales, I could have worked for the church in Wales. They're desperate for clergy a lot of the time, and we thought about going north, because I've always felt that we could and should go north of England, because they really struggle with getting clergy as well. And the thing that put me off about Wales quite a lot is a lot of these lovely areas. The churches are really spread out, but also if you've ever been on holiday to like the coast of Wales, we used to go to Mid Wales. And in the little coast, it was great. They might have a fish and chip shop and maybe a couple of convenience stores, but they had not a lot of infrastructure. So like if you wanted to go shops, you went to these local shops and they were just horrendously expensive. Like the cost of living there must be through the roof, unless you live in like a normal town, a big town, which has got the Tesco's and the Aldi's and everything else like that. Whereas here, we've got Tesco Express down the road. We've got 10 minutes down the road, I've got a bigger Tesco's. If I go into Douglas, it's just 20 minutes, which seems like such a long way now. It's I live in customer life. You're 42. We need to meet up, mate. Well, I'm a bit older than you, but honestly, if you'd like to, we'll have to catch up sometime. We'll sort it out because I am flaky. Don't get me wrong. I meet with people all the time, but it's like honestly, I love meeting people from outside of the church. Like just socially, it's really good for me. Not to all my friends to be members of the congregation, because otherwise you're just never away from the job. There's always something you're talking about to do with the job. We're from sunny Manchester, currently in the process of moving over. Just waiting to hear something about work in the next week. Oh, bless you. Praying for that. If you don't mind, I will pray for that. But that's just awesome. I can't rate it enough. Ignore the stuff you see on Facebook. I'm really chuffed for you. And ignore the stuff you see on Facebook and all that sort of rubbish where people will put it down and say this. People are nasty and mean and things like that. You get quite a lot of that. That's the same for any local Facebook group that you see. But crazy, the actual genuine people you meet face to face are some of the nicest people. Part of that is because so many are northern. So half the population here is not Manx born. So 85,000 people, about half that, more than half are people who are born in other places. But a huge number come over from Yorkshire, Lancashire, Manchester, Liverpool, all those sorts of places, all like northern cities and towns and places in the north. And I have to say, northern people are the friendliest people I've ever met. And it doesn't matter who you talk about in Manchester or Liverpool, even there. I don't know, because I'm talking like city life, because I've come from a city. And people don't tend to talk that much, but honestly, the nicest people, face to face, the nicest people. I was thinking earlier, we've got a pub in town called the Glue Pot, otherwise known as the Castle Arms. And I went down there just to watch a match, a football match, because just needed like a Sunday afternoon, go and watch the Gooners playing football, and it was just nice. It reminded me, I used to run a pub many years ago. It's where my wife and I got together. We ran it for a few years, but it was the nicest place where people just come, and it didn't matter if you didn't know anybody. People would welcome you in before you're one of the gang, and people would, even if they're on their own and lonely, they would always find company in the place. It's what the pubs are like. They're not like that anymore. A lot of the pubs you go to, they're chains and they're big groups, and the managers change every 5 minutes. And the crowd changes because no one's particularly loyal. You get some regulars, you might do. But it's proper local pubs around here, and you can really make some friends, which is lovely. I'm not a drinker, that's my only issue. I'm not much of a drinker anymore. So I'm not anti-drink, I'm not anti stuff like that. And it's not because I'm a Christian or I'm a priest, I just don't tend to do that. It's Stream Elements is putting up weird messages. Great, the Gaming Vicars channel. All right, okay. Thank you for your prayers, means a lot. Just can't wait now, and to be nearer to family. It's a massive plus. Oh, great! If you've got family over here, you're sorted anyway. But yeah, it's just such a great place, and it's not for everyone. I always say that, so you'll hear it in my streams when I'm chatting away to people, and not my streams, my videos. I get confused, but when I'm on my videos, I'll say it's not for everyone, because I don't want people to think that I'm convincing people to move here. I'd love to. I'd love loads of people that I know, friends and family and stuff, to move over here because it's a different life. But it's not for everyone, and some people get really stir crazy. And I got told I would be. Yeah, I've only left the island when I've had to. I've gone to what did I do? I went to. I've been across because my daughter has to go to all-day hospital sometimes. She's had a condition since she was 3, of juvenile idiopathic arthritis, so I have to head over there. That service is amazing as well. But so I've had to head to Liverpool for that. She's going again next week, I think it is, and my wife's taking her this time. So the other time was I was working on a project with Liverpool Hope University on digital evangelism. So I had to pop over there for about a project. And the other time was I got asked to preach at Christ College, Cambridge. So I like stayed there for a couple of days and preached at Evensong, and it was kind of cool. So yeah, that sort of stuff. Just like apart from that, see, I think if you've got the mindset, I don't need to go. I don't need to. What do I need to go for? Then you feel very different about it. If you don't feel like if you're constantly thinking about the walls, like the barriers, then you'll get stir crazy. Love what's here. I used to travel in the car with a trailer tent or just to a cottage somewhere in Wales. It'd take us 6-8 hours to get there, to be in this sort of countryside and to be on the coast. And it was a nightmare, and it was horrible, and the kids were always a nightmare in the car and throwing up. There's always one of our kids has always been one that two the boys have always been ones that can't really handle car journeys. And when they were little, as soon as one grew out of it, the younger one got it, and they'd be thrown up in the carry bags in the car. It'd be dear. Yeah, it'd be fine. It'd be fine. So I think you're talking about the James. I think you're talking about the trip to Liverpool. It'd be great. My daughter's used to it. She's 16 now. She's had it since she was 3. She has a weekly injection, which deals with a lot of the problems with the arthritis. There was lots of real concerns as she was growing, but she's all right. She's really good. She gets times and she gets tired, and that's when it aches, but she's all right. I can't believe this weird Stream Elements is putting posts up. I'll have to sort that out. Do you know, I switched off Stream Elements, but somehow it still connects to everything. And if I go live, it just starts posting up things. It's really stupid. But there we go. But you probably don't see it on YouTube, actually. It's probably put it up on Twitch. Yeah, it has. So unless you're on Twitch, you won't have seen it. Yeah, so let me tell you about what's going on. Let's talk about the channel first. The YouTube is doing all right. I didn't know what would happen, how it would grow, whether it would be at all popular or anything would happen. And it's a grind, basically. Put out a video every week and keep consistent and put it out. I enjoy it because it gets me out, and I have something that I have a little bit of something outside of church work really that I can do. So that's good. And we're up to something like 539 subscribers on YouTube, which is great. We've broken the 500 mark. We've gone beyond that. So the next step really is the 1,000, getting up to the 1,000 mark. The other thing is, I'm working on kind of getting the view time up, because we're at 2,400. It goes for a year. You have to hit certain targets for YouTube. I won't get anything. Funnily enough, I can't put ads on and get money for ads. Not bothered about it, but we don't have that facility on YouTube on the Isle of Man. So there's no AdSense revenue or anything like that. Funnily enough, you get plenty of adverts now. I've managed to work that one out, because for a while on YouTube, I wasn't even getting any adverts. So you could watch stuff and not get ads. Netflix, if you get the ad version of Netflix over here, you don't get any ads in it. So you get pay $5 instead of, well, I don't, it comes part of my Sky package, but we're paying like $5 for the cheapest version, but you'd get ads in what you're watching. Don't get any ads. It doesn't pick it up because it doesn't know the area. It's kind of cool. Yeah, what else? So so we're up to 2,000, something like 2,500 hours in a year, which is good, because I started in sort of January with about 17 subscribers, a channel that I'd opened up and really had done nothing with. So that's cool. We've grown a bit, and it's got it's great. It's and I quite like that I'm having to work at it for it to grow. I've not got any videos that have gone viral, and I haven't got any shorts or reels or anything else that have gone crazy. I've had some good views, but the video last week did really well. It hadn't been on the Friday I released it, and it was what was my video Friday previously? That was that Doing Glenn? No, it can't have been Doing Glenn. Oh my goodness, Simon, you're an absolute idiot. What was it? What was my channel? It's going to start playing sound on here now. What was the one that jumped? I should know. Videos. Oh, Douglas Shops. Douglas Shops. I did a walk around Douglas and walked along the promenade and back again. It done about 140 views by the Saturday or a Sunday morning or something. I popped another message about. Thanks, Louise. Cheers. I'm glad you know what I'm doing. And James, thanks. Yeah, you do need to do something outside of work. I'll talk about something called active rest in a bit. But yeah, I did the prom and then walked back down the high street. And I just wanted to, it's mainly because I'm getting sick of people saying that there's not enough shops. And there's just tons. Enough, more than you need. You know, everything's there. And what's not there, people go, I'm going to move to London. I've got all the shops and around. And you live in London and you end up ordering stuff anyway. 'Cause it's a nightmare to get anywhere. Yeah, Douglas Prom shopping. Yeah, just to wander around there. It was it done 140, and I put another post out on Sunday going, well, you know, this is out still, and it's 350 I'm up to now or something, 357 views on it, but it jumped quite quickly in the next sort of 24 hours. So I was like, oh, okay, perhaps I just need to follow stuff up a bit more. But yeah, it's all a learning curve, and you kind of see where things go on the way and see what works. And I'm always listening to people. So I've done a couple of ones that people have mentioned to me about doing, like, so Doon Glen. I'm going to do Ballaglass Glen. That looks stunning around there. I'll probably do, I need to do Ramsey as a kind of walk around the shops and walk around the high street there, because Ramsey's really nice. Amazing long beach, and it's a really got nice setting, and a lot of people, especially people moving over and thinking about moving to the island, because Ramsey's a lot cheaper, or it's a lot cheaper. It's a bit cheaper than perhaps some of the south, because it's further away from Douglas, which is the main shopping and main kind of hub for business and stuff. And then you've got, so a lot of the southern towns are definitely more expensive. So people think about moving to Ramsey, but then they get, well, what's actually there? So we definitely need to do a little bit of a walk around Ramsey, and that's on the list. So Ballaglass Glen, I need to do another camp. So I've done a bit of camping this year. Some I've recorded, some I haven't. But I need to do another camp because something I love doing anyway. It's a lot of anxiety around wild camping. So you worry. For me, it's not. I don't care about being out in the dark or animals or anything like that. It's more people who might try and disturb things or getting into trouble about it. Because it's not legal on the Isle of Man. You can't wild camp, strictly speaking, legally. The thing is, the land's owned by the people. The other problem I should say about it is there are some people who fly camp and they just buy cheapy tents and dump them and all stuff like that. So it causes upset, and then everyone gets blamed for it. Alan, yes, I really enjoyed the Douglas walk around. Good to see if anything's changed. That's another. It's a great thing that I get people who've lived on the island, perhaps were born here, grew up here, then moved away. Lots of people do, and they kind of, it's a bit of nostalgia, a bit of motion detected at the front door. Motion detected at the front door. I wonder that is. Someone's gone out. It's one of the kids going. Yeah, it's the kids. I've got a Ring camera. And it tells me they'll go off again in a bit. They've gone out. No doubt they've managed to talk my wife into giving them snack money, and they're heading down to Tesco's Express to go spend it, without a doubt. They're perfectly safe. It doesn't matter what time of night it is here, really. They're perfectly safe. So we just don't worry about the kids anymore. You can't be completely naive about things, but honestly, they're so safe. Kids wandering around here. It's unbelievable. But yeah, a lot of nostalgia. So a lot of people. So the other thing I get is a lot of people with mobility issues. So people who have who no longer can get on the kind of some of the steep walks. So when I've climbed Snaefell, or I've gone down Doon Glen, or the White Beach, which has just been, I can't wait to go back there. Actually, I'll probably do another camp because they've improved all the paths along there. So that's good, because it really needed it. The steps down to the White Beach Trevain were pretty dangerous. So that's all been done. But yeah, a bit of camping, a bit of that. But yeah, people with mobility issues as well, who like the idea of joining me on a walk. 'Cause you've seen them. I don't edit them much. Might put a bit of music and a couple of clips at the start, put something at the end, give it a title, take out any bits like I did today when I was coughing. Oh, the video I took yesterday, but I was coughing a bit and I was like, cut the coughing out. Apart from that, you get what I get, which is if I'm walking, you're with me walking. And it definitely won't be for everyone. A lot of these walking videos and hiking videos are like snippets here and there, and that's the format. I kind of want to buck the format a bit and kind of go, right, okay, I know it means I won't get as much viewership, I won't get all the views on the videos, but it's the kind of stuff I love. I love just going to sleep to it, to be honest with you. I say, don't worry if you're probably listening to me now falling asleep, but yeah, you don't worry about if you fall asleep watching or listening to my podcast. It's come out now. It's just like nice just to kind of stroll along and experience it as I'm seeing it. Going to try and get a new camera. I've got a really good camera, but it's not an action camera, so it can't get wet, which causes me some issues. But I've got my eye on the Nano, the DJI Nano, and I should be able to put it on the peak of my cap, so you get a much more POV view. And it will be just kind of what I look at, you look at kind of thing. And it can be used out in the rain and no problem at all. So that should be fun. It's not going to be quite yet. Save up a few pennies, but also for some reason I usually pick stuff up from Curry's on the island to try and at least keep the money, even though it's going to a big company, you know, at least go and use the shops that are on the island. For some reason Curry's is £100, just over £100 more expensive than every other shop, and I've actually messaged them and they're just going, I had a nightmare, but they're just not interested in it. I'm on churches, so I can't walk around. Crutches, you told me about that. I can't walk around the place anymore. So thank you. Hope you have a good. I'm not sure what you're about to type, James, but I don't know if you're heading off now. But yeah, I appreciate it, James. You're one of the people that hopefully this stuff appeals to, because it's nice just to kind of join in and feel like you're there. And so I'm trying to make it even more point of view, so you could almost feel like you're walking. I imagine can you imagine if you had a VR headset attached, because that works with YouTube, and you can do like I couldn't do you can do 360, so you could almost look around and be on the walk, but I think that would take up way too much space. We love watching videos for inspiration from when we get there. Do you know of any good places to walk with an all-terrain wheelchair? Yeah, loads. There's some really good paths actually. You could definitely do probably a bit around Langness. I'll try and find some more though. You're staying, James. Good. You just look like you were going. So thank you. Hope you have a good. I thought it was going to be evening, or stream or something. Good that you're still here. Yeah. So one of our friends, I should say, she's the wife of a colleague of mine, Wendy. Wendy uses an electric chair. Sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, she uses like an electric scootery type thing, and I don't know, she might be in. So ignore the stream elements stuff that's coming up. I'll work on it and get rid of it at some point. That's all about, because people used to like spend money on my streams and things and pay me stuff and all that sort of stuff, and I was like, you don't need to. I'm not after cash out of anybody. Any support that I get goes towards the equipment and things like that. So I have a Patreon, and buy me a coffee for that. But Wendy, yeah, so she's probably a good person to speak to as well. I can always, when you come over here, introduce you. So she has some mobility issues, and she needs to use an electric, like one of these electric scootery things. And she did Glen Helen recently, and that is easily accessible, and it's a lovely flat path, and then you can go all the way along to a beautiful waterfall. So you can get to places, and it's not too far, but there's definitely the paths are underrated here. I don't know what I need to try there's a railway line, the Millennium Way, and that looks like it's been done up quite nicely, but I think there was some quite big puddles in it at one point. I'm dyslexic, so I was going to say thank you for your video, but predictive text changed it. You should see predictive text. Just, I don't know. I think my fingers are getting old and fat or something, or just don't pick up anymore. Because when I type on my phone text messages and stuff like that, the amount of times I have to apologise and rewrite stuff. I think I said probably last time, but every time I write the word live or live, so I'm going live on this, or I live here or something like that, it changes it to love, which can make it really weird if you send something saying about loving something rather than living somewhere. But there you go. So I get that. Um, but yeah, and don't, some of the places you go with a wheelchair will be just like around the towns and the visits and definitely some of the sites that are run by like Culture Van Inn and the tourism board and things like that. Obviously, have been made more accessible. So not everything, but like your museums and stuff like that, easily done. But it's yeah, there's lots. It's you're not going to be stuck. You just have to pick your paths. And we've got walking groups and stuff who'll probably know some of the easier paths. The great thing around here is you really will be able to talk to anybody, and there's plenty of people out there. Like literally, if you put a question out there, there are lots of helpful. Even on Facebook, there are lots of helpful people who will kind of give you a clue. Where am I on here? Let me change that back over to that. But right. So yeah. The walks and some of the places here, the way they look after the paths and stuff is incredible considering they haven't got a lot of money. Like nobody at the moment, and you see probably parks in the UK that are absolutely overgrown and looking horrible, and some stuff's a bit tired here as well. But there's not the money, and yet the paths in the middle of nowhere get trimmed back, and then people go, "Oh, this one's overgrown." Stuff grows. I remember, oh, this is a story for you, but before I left college, you had to get your garden, make sure your garden, I had a little flat, but it had a garden. It was a garden flat because we had a dog. Cats. Didn't have a dog at the time. We had a couple of cats, and we were a big family, so 4 kids. They gave us a slightly bigger flat. It's like 3 bedrooms and a little box room. That's for my study. I had to cut it all back and make sure it was all nice and trimmed. The lawn was trimmed, the hedge was trimmed, and everything looked really nice before we moved out. And I got a message from them saying, we're charging you 200 after we moved out. We're charging you 250 quid because we've had to get gardeners in to sort your garden out. I was like, I did it before I left. So they sent me, no, look, and they sent me pictures of like brambles growing out the hedge and stuff like that. And I looked at it and I was like, hold on. And I took it, because I know my stuff, I went into the metadata of the photo, information about when it was taken and things like that. And it'd been like 6 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. And we just had this summer where it was all rain and sunshine. It was rain 1 minute, sunshine the next. Everything had grown madly. And brambles grow really quick. You've got a bramble growing out of a hedge, if you've ever seen it. They grow so quickly, like an inch a day or something. And I was like, well, this was 6 weeks ago. So I literally wrote to the college and just went, this is disgusting. And I will not be paying you £250. And I'm absolutely furious about this because you didn't take the picture the next day. You took a picture 6 weeks later just to get 250 quid out of me. And I'll take it to the press. I don't care what it does to my old college. And I'll say that I got a phone call from someone there, a nice person I knew, who went, just to let you know, I'm just going to send you a formal email, but I just want to apologise for this. It was the property manager. About the awful thing that they tried to do and what they sent to you, and what I'll be sending you will be legally a bit safer for us. And the email with the letter was basically said, we've decided to withdraw the cost of gardening. We won't be charging you for this. But he was much more apologetic. It was just really awful. But there you go. Louise, Blue on 2 is my hubby. We're moving down south. Okay. It's our daughter that's a part-time wheelchair user for when she's fatigued. It's exactly the same as Wendy. My daughter could have ended up in a wheelchair. So my daughter has juvenile idiopathic arthritis. My wife works, but she has fibromyalgia. She gets quite fatigued, as well as pernicious anemia and arthritis. And what else has got wrong with her? Loads. But I understand that. So it's definitely something that you can do around here. You won't be stuck indoors, and there'll be plenty of lovely walks you will be able to go for, and some routes that we can probably find out together. I'll work out some places, and I'll always, if there's a place you're going, is this accessible? I'll go and walk it and video it, and you can have a look for yourself. Some of them, I'm scared to walk, as kind of sure-footed as I think I am. There's places where boulders are falling down and paths have washed away, and they make me nervous. So yeah, there'll be places that won't be suitable, but absolutely. So can I ask, whereabouts in the south are you moving? Is it Douglas or Castletown, Port Erin, Port St Mary, Port Soderick? lots of ports. You don't have to share that because obviously it's sharing a bit of personal information, but do let us know. I'll tell you a bit about the place if I can. You probably know it. I think you said you've got family over here. You're going to be close to family, so you'll probably know the place as well as I do, if not better. But you did say you had family over here. But honestly, there's so much to do. If you don't get the mentality that there's nothing to do, if you don't get the mentality that I can't get off this island, it's all in the head. It's all about attitude. And if you're really positive mental attitude, if you're positive about stuff, you'll find the stuff that my kids are like down the shop. They love it. Walking down to the square, going to the shops, going to get some snacks. So they're watching movies at the moment. Sitting in front of the telly. We do movie nights and stuff. They're out in the summer. They're hitting Port Erin, going to the beach with their friends, going on walks themselves with their mates. They don't go walk too far, but they do go for little bits of walks, generally in the wrong footwear and clothing, but they get out there. Or they go to Douglas. That's a bus ride. Buses are amazing here, really good. Again, something people complain about who clearly haven't lived somewhere which really has problems with buses. It's not like we get 2 a day kind of thing. It's not like that here. So maybe not as good as being in central London, where I could get on a bus and there'd be one along in 5 minutes. But Castletown, it's got a place at Castle Rush School. Yeah, awesome. Well, we'll be saying hello then. And Castle Rushen is where my son goes to. So he's in his final year GCSEs. It's a really good school. I don't know, again, depending where you've come, you said Manchester, you might find a real change in the school. Like, she'll love it. Tell her she'll love it. She will do. She'll make friends. My kids were like a little bit first. I'm not going to make any friends. I'm not going to make any friends. I haven't got any. But they're used to moving about a bit. But they were a bit worried. Honestly, I have 20 kids in my front room sometimes. With them, like they'll go, can some of my friends come in? And then literally all the food's gone and the TV's blaring out and they're doing karaoke or something or doing something silly. They're giggling and laughing. And they've been here 2 years now, but they've had these friends groups for ages. My son really struggled with friends back in the UK, and he's got 13. It'll be SEN provision. Yeah, great. It's there. SEN is a battle, as it always is. We've had the same sorts of battles. So both my boys have got dyspraxia. So that they've needed a bit of help along the way. But my eldest is at university now. My youngest has just found out today he's been put early in for his maths exam. His handwriting's still terrible because of the dyspraxia, but he they've got a bit of support, but like a lot of places, it's a bit of a mixed bag. I will say mental health support for children over here is pretty damn good, and counsellors and things like that. They've got such a good. Again, something that gets complained about, but they've got such a good network with I'll Listen and Mind Matters and things like that. And my kids, my experience is exactly the same as any other parents. My kids don't get away with it all because I'm a Christian and a priest. But she will love it. It's uniformed, but the school, you go into the school and you're looking out the window. I would never have been able to concentrate because you literally look out the window of the school and you're looking across hills. And towards the sea, and you see all the weather coming in, and the fields and the farmers and everything out there. It's not in the middle of nowhere. It's perfectly accessible, and it's loads of kids get bused there as well. But and it's going to be rebuilt. So by the time she's finished, it should have been rebuilt as well. So it should be in a nice shiny brand new one. By the time she finished, it's not going to happen before my son leaves. But I think they're breaking ground next year. But they're investing millions in it to redo the swimming pool and but like loads of good facilities there. It's a bit old, the school, but again, I've seen a lot worse. The arts department, it depends what she's into. The arts department is ridiculous. It's just like you walk into it and it's like heaven for artists. And one of my daughters did textiles and was making also that it's like banks of sewing machines and stuff like that. My son's doing art, and it's art hanging everywhere and sculptures and stuff like that. It's just really cool. But they're good for the arts over here, good for drama. Great for music, ridiculously good for music over here. If she wants to learn an instrument, she'll be able to do that. And sport. And I know obviously she's such troubles with fatigue, but maybe there's stuff she can do in that respect. My boys with the dyspraxia didn't like the sport. My girls didn't like sport. And my youngest with the arthritis, obviously, but she still managed to do little bits. It's really good like that. She's Down syndrome. We've already been in touch with the Down syndrome community. We came and had a look around the school in June. Oh, the community here is superb. She'll get so much support. I just I just hope she finds it as welcoming as everyone else I know has. But it's a special place. It's a really nurturing place, and it's safe. So they're much older. So my associate priest, so he'd be a good person to speak to, been through it all, has adult children with learning disabilities, 3, who will come to our church up at Arbury. Wonderful they are. I just think like this is a proper community, so people just get accepted as who they are, and are lifted up and helped and loved, and it's just one of these special places, really. So I'm so pleased she's coming here, and I'm glad she's going to a great school, and it's a good place. It's a good place. So, but yeah, my associate priest Colin, who is ex-police, and he's just it's just one of those places. Everyone's welcome, and there's not a huge amount of diversity here, I will say. Like ethnicity wise, but there is quite a bit. So a lot of South African people, but you've also got a growing, massive Filipino community. My daughter's boyfriend's Filipino, Jaco. He's a good lad, and growing. Other communities are growing. So lots of like European and others, but there's a growing sort of African community. There's always been a South African community, so it's a lot of diversity. So it's quite accepting, even though some people, if you spoke to some people, if you heard the keyboard warriors, you probably wouldn't think so, but it really is. It's the safety of the place it's come to. Yeah, really safe, really safe. And I see. So my colleagues, he's got 2 girls and 1 boy, and as I say, they're adults, older adults as well. So they, 2 of them can't do much else, but one of them is out and works as a little part-time job that she does, and she walks through town, and I say hello to her, and I see her in Douglas and things, and she just gets on with things. And it's nice because there isn't that concern or worry, but like just generally for all kids, their safety, such a safe place. Not without its problems, not without, you can't be. Everywhere has crime, everywhere has problems. Nothing like when you get here, it's just like, it's just ridiculous. It's almost like there's no crime. There is. It's not hidden as such, but because it's so few, it's more shocking when anything does happen. But yeah, safer place couldn't hope for. People don't lock their doors. Front doors are left open. People don't lock their cars. You might want to do that in Douglas, but you probably wouldn't need to worry about it anywhere else. But yeah, it's great place to live, and she'll be very welcomed in the community, and as you will both be as well. It's a great place to live. I'm going to go on too much on. I keep saying it's great. It really is so. But the experiences as well, loads of clubs that she'll be able to join, loads of other activities depending on what she wants to do. Just to be a full member of the community, there's not that kind of separation. She'll be able to enjoy everything, as will you both. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to meeting you. When you get, hopefully you'll say hello in person. I do get random strangers walking. What have I had this week? I had an interesting one just gone when I was recording the video. I got to the end of the video, and there's a couple of guys looking at my car, and I thought, because it's like this. It kind of stands out a bit now because it's a sports car. Shouldn't have a sports car. Should have a Vicar. But so I've got the BMW, and one of the guy turns to me and he says, "Oh, here's the Vicar I was telling you about." And he said, "I could tell you were here because your car was here." And it was a guy who's on TikTok, and he kind of likes some of my videos and says hello and stuff. A guy called Tim, and we greeted him, and we're meeting for coffee in Douglas at some point. And that's it. It's just that sort of place, you know. You meet someone, you talk about something you got in common, and before you know it, you're going out for a cup of coffee with someone, going for a bit of lunch or whatever it might be. So, all good. YouTube. What we got on here? Interesting. Like I didn't know what section to put it under on Twitch. That's just under like podcasts and talk shows or something. I don't know. But there we go. No one will discover it. I'm not in the algorithm anymore, so no one will see it. Have I met anybody else this week? I guess one of the kids. So I did a service today. So there's a private school called Kim Williams College, and it's in my parish, but not of my parish. It's kind of a separate entity of its own, and the chaplain's just retired. And they haven't got a chaplain at the moment, so I've been to covering the last couple of services. So I was in on today, to cover their evensong, do a little bit of a harvest themed evensong, and it is great because one of the kids after the service, really cool kid who actually is a church goer up to Machold Church up north, beautiful little church, and he's an altar boy there, and he's helps out, and he doesn't go with his parents. The parents, they go to church. He's just said, I've just felt called by God to go to church. He must be 13 years old himself. And we had a good old chat, and he said, and he just went, "Are you the TikTok vicar?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And it was like, "Oh, good." There's no, with teenagers, there's not a lot of words said. And it was just like, "Yeah, oh, all right." And that was it. But yeah, it's great college. If you want to send your kid to a private school, I couldn't if you like money wise, but I think we're supposed to, as the local vicar gets a discount. But even with a discount, it's like I just wanted my kids to be in a sort of school that they were used to. If they were, I should get another drink. I've taken my mug out now. I'm supposed to be here for a brew. I should be texting my wife, "Go make me a cuppa." I don't do that really. It's only a joke. She'd kill me. It will come up on here. I've seen James's message, but it's not coming up in front. It's coming up on my side one on YouTube. Come on, catch up. Software, catch up. I'm going to read it off here anyway. Message retracted. Oh, there we go. Delete his message. I'm sure I'll come back in a moment. But yeah, what I've been up to this week. So I'm preparing for a baptism on Sunday and 2 services, and I've got to drive my daughter to evensong. So all that kind of prep. We've got our we do last Saturday of the month we have a brunch in the church where it's £3 a pop, really expensive, but you can get like bacon sandwiches, sausage sandwiches, cake, tea, coffee, and all that sort of that stuff. It doesn't really raise a lot of money for the church. It raises a bit, but it's like it's more about getting people into the church building and making them welcome, and giving, especially people who might be struggling a little bit financially, gives them a way of getting out and going somewhere and actually having something to eat and to drink for a very small amount. Whole families come in and stuff like that. So we've got that tomorrow. Starts at 10 o'clock till 1 p.m. What else am I up to? Or been up to this week? So I did the video when I was taking my daughter to choir practice. I stopped off and did the video just with I realised I was like, I really need to do a video. Do I do a video? I've got my live stream. I don't need to do a video, but I did, and just took it with my phone and my. Let's see what it's up to, shall we? Should we do a check-in? Let's do a check-in, see how it's doing. That's the thing. You can't get too obsessed with it, otherwise you're constantly checking if someone's watched it. But I'll have a look. I'll have a check-in to see where we are with it. No more subscribers. 28 views. There we go. A couple of messages from a gentleman I've been chatting to, who's I think English but lives in Thailand and has been in touch. He's asking about talking about selling silver, because I was making not a joke, but talking in the video. We got some silver that belongs to St Mary's on the Harbour, It's quite old stuff, probably quite valuable, and it's in a vault in the bank, and we've got to get it out of the bank and then get it probably up to the cathedral to store. That thing is, I kind of go, oh, so something just gets kept in a safe for 200 years. Great, great. I know we like talking about selling off the silver, but I just feel it could be put to better use if we could sell it and make something from it, and then invest it into stuff, into mission and the church building and paying bills and all sorts. Um, yeah. James has written, if you like motorbike racing, has that gone weird? Has that gone weird? Oh no, it's come up. It's come up. I don't know what I'm doing. If you like motorbike racing, you will like the Isle of Man to become. We have the best road race in the world. And it's not just. I think people go, it's the TT, and they think of it like one race, and it's kind of done or something, or a couple of days. It's not. It's like 2 weeks of it. You've got qualifiers and you've got the main race. Then you've got, oh my word, you've got so much in the way of more motorbike racing. You've got the TT Classics. You've got the Manx Grand Prix. You've got the Southern 100 and Classic GP. You've got some rally car racing. We've even had skateboard. This year was the first year that one of the hills got used for these like downhill skateboarders. We've recently had a festival weekend of motoring with lots of convertibles about the place. It was all soft tops and convertibles and classic cars driving around the island. Some of the like clubs like Porsche and Mazda MX-5 owners clubs and stuff like that will come here and do hill climbs and all sorts of things like that. It's a proper petrolhead island. So there's tons to do. So if you like racing at all or motorsports at all, you'll love it. Blue or two. I'm a biker myself, currently work in the industry too. It was growing up between over here and the Isle of Man that ignited the passion for bikes. My daughter, my 18-year-old daughter, has just bought her first bike. It's a Yamaha GS125, I think it is, or something like that. It's nice, brand new. I don't know, brand new bike. She's booking in for a CBT, and she's got some of the gear. I'm going out to take her out to get a good crash helmet, but she's getting proper leathers. And I told her if I ever see her on a bike without the leathers on, she's going to be in trouble. But yeah, she's taking she's just about to book in her CBT. She's got a bike, it's not my thing, and I'll worry about her, but we all have to live our own lives. So that's something she's always wanted to do. So she's doing it. Independent young lady. She's moved out. I can't say you don't live under my roof if you ride a motorbike, because she doesn't live under my roof. There you go. Yeah, it's a big thing on the island. I've been tempted from time to time. Especially when I was in the bike shop with her when she was doing the paperwork, and I was like, oh, that's a nice bike. I've got a friend who's a priest. He's a proper rider, proper biker, and he travels all around on his and does tours and stuff, and does a lot long distance kind of, and mainly around Europe and stuff, but that sort of thing. But yeah, I think it's heaven if you're into motorsports generally, and heaven particularly if you're a biker. It's just the place to be. You'll make so many friends. One of the things they say if you struggle to make friends is get a motorbike over here, and you'll have no end of friends. And everyone is so friendly. I sat down at the glue pot one day out in the sunshine. I was just there. I must have been on a couple of days off for a week's holiday or something, and Tasha was probably working still, and I was just using up some holiday. And it was glorious day. And I thought, you know what? I don't do this. I'm going to go, because I was out of uniform. I'm going to go down the pub. I'm going to buy a pint of ice cold lager and sit in the garden and drink that overlooking the harbour. And I did that. And it was TT time, and a whole group, like a few bikers turned up, and I had a table, and not a massive table to myself, but I did have a table. And suddenly, and they're like, "Can we sit here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go on, no problem at all." And suddenly I had this table, and then all these other bikers turned up, and before you knew it, there's like 20 of them. And it was all like, you know what it's like. Well, you don't know what it's like, but I'm a priest. And so the first question was, what do you do for a living? And I was like, well, I'm a priest. And so immediately that started the banter going. So that was 20 lads, and we were joking and having a pint, and it was really fun. Might have been, was it Southern 100 or was it TT? I think it was TT. I'm pretty sure it's TT. But yeah, great. So always that sort of thing to look forward to. What are we up to? Nearly 9 o'clock. Nearly 9 o'clock. I'll keep going for a bit longer. If you've got any questions, go ahead, ask away. If there's anything you want to know about, if you want anything, comments you want to make, do that. I'm looking at kind of where we are, and I am noticing that we're dropping down in numbers of watching, which is fine. I don't mind. I'll talk to myself for a bit, talk about some of the stuff I've been picking up. I've got some gear that's come in, and I'll talk about that. If no one wants to say anything or wants to ask anything. But do interrupt with questions if you do. It looks like a few people have dropped off, and that's all right. That's normal. So I'll grab the gear that I've got, and then this will at least be on the video when it turns into a standalone video of its own. What did I get? So I had a bit of an issue the other day, because I always do compare it to the size of my head. There you go. I had a bit of an issue the other day because I went out walking the dog, and it was chucking it down. But I was like, I've got my new waterproof jacket, which I managed to get for a bargain price off of eBay. And it's a Patagonia. If you know the make, it's very, very good, and it works really well, and it keeps you dry, and it's good quality. I got it, I paid like 30 quid or 40 quid for it or something, 35, somewhere in the middle. And it was great, except all the rain runs straight off your jacket and onto your legs. And so I was dry up top, but my legs were soaking, and I was like, it wasn't that I didn't know I probably needed to get set, but I've got my waterproof trousers. I just got some ones. These aren't top quality, I don't think, called rain pants, and I'm kind of thinking I might have underpaid for some cheaper ones. They're kind of, I don't know, we'll see. They've got a lining on them. I don't think a lining's great, actually, because the trouble with the lining, it's great if you're just wearing these, but the lining's bound to get caught on like shoes and stuff when you're trying to, or boots when you're trying to put the trousers on. But we'll see how that goes. Yeah, so I picked up that. Did I show it last time? I got this light. I'm using it now, actually. So I got like a little light that I'm going to use when I'm filming in the dark, so I can light up my face. I've tried it when I've done camps with torches, and the problem with torches is they tend to be too bright, and you can't see because it's not diffused light. It's focused. It's meant to light stuff up. So I've got something which is like a little battery, like it's a rechargeable battery, and it's from this K&F gear that K&F concept stuff, which I really, really like. It's working really well, actually. It seems to be not going through the battery particularly quickly, which is great. It's what you hope. Have I got Witcher 3 yet? Have you? And how have you played Skyrim? So I haven't got Witcher 3 yet. I'll think about it. It's finding the time to play anything at all and anything new. I'm sure I played it a little bit a long time ago. But what I played it on, I don't know. But have I played Skyrim? I have played Skyrim. Didn't get that into it. But I kind of, there was earlier ones with like Elder Scrolls, and there's different, I think there's different ones. But anyway, Skyrim, I played a bit, the online stuff. Oh no, is it Skyrim the story? I don't know. I played it a bit. I didn't get into it. I like that. I kind of should like that sort of game for some reason. Didn't get on with it. But, it's a classic. It's an absolute classic. Still looking for something that's really going to ignite my passion. I play DayZ, probably when I'm playing. That's the main game I play now. Because I can play it for 10 minutes or half an hour or 2 hours, and it doesn't really make any difference. I can just do a little bit. It's a bit of survival, going to places and gearing up and making campfires, and it's kind of, it's one of those ones where when it hits a moment, like people start shooting at you, you kind of go, that gets exciting really quickly. And I like that kind of little happening, not a lot happening, especially if I'm streaming, like just chatting away, talking, and all of a sudden, boom, it gets really, really mad and crazy, and it's like that's kind of all right. I like that. Yeah, what else have I been up to? have I got anything exciting that I've picked up recently? Not really. I try not to spend loads of money on this gear. I've got my gear now. Apart from that last camera that I want, that's the last thing that I'm after. That's going to cost me about 260 quid, I think. A memory card for it as well. I'll top that up. But yeah, that's really kind of it for the gear. I just don't need much else. Later for the winter camps, I might pick up some down trousers and down boots. I've got some kind of wintry boots. I probably won't be using my, still reasonably mild at the moment. I've got my Vivo barefoot, so I use barefoot walking boots. But they're always really tricky when it's really cold because there's not a lot you can do to protect your feet from the cold if you've got barefoots on. So we'll do a bit of that. Yeah, and I'm just planning really. It's all planning about trying to scope out the places which have got like the good wild camp spots. So I know a couple. It's a good time of year to do it because it's a bit rainier, a bit colder. All the people, the kind of fair weather people, will be going. I won't be camping again till the spring. So if I go out now, I'll probably be the only person out on the hills or by the beach or whatever. There's not likely to be anybody else about even walking. So it does get a little bit easier and less concerning. And I don't mind sitting in a tent in the rain. Not in some of the places I go to. So, and part of it's that kind of absolute solitude, and that just makes it really kind of special. Not that I'm a loner. I do try and make friends when I can. I do try and socialise with people, but a lot of my job is socialising with people. So, oh, you heard my radio piece? Yeah, I didn't talk about that, did I? Heard my radio piece from radio. It's a bit disappointing, to be fair. So I was on BBC Radio 4 on Sunday, and all the prep for it was talking about these Nephilim, these giants from Scripture that appear in Genesis 6, Numbers as well. And they're also in the Book of Enoch, which is an apocryphal text, which is not in the canons of the Bible, or at least not in ours. I think it's in the Ethiopian Bible or something like that. Enoch's included, maybe. Yeah, it was this talk about the DLC, the downloadable content for Indiana Jones, and I did all this prep work. I'd been interviewed by the researcher. I did all this stuff. I was interviewed by the researcher for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes. I knew what I was talking about, and then it was it was more like a sound bite. I was spoken to for about 2 minutes, and it was see you later, bye, and it was nothing to do with anything I prepared for. That's it. That's how it goes sometimes. But I was a bit kind of like, oh, that's going to come across really well, isn't it? I was hoping we could promote the stream and talk about what I do now and all that sort of stuff. But hey, you're not allowed to advertise anything on BBC. They don't like you talking about your own pages and YouTubes and Twitches and stuff like that. There you go. So I was the gaming vicar for that one. Again, ignore stream element stuff. It always comes up. But so yeah, if anyone's joining me now, watching a little bit of this, just so you know, my name's the Reverend Simon Archer. I am the priest in charge of the parish of Arbury in Castletown. So I'm a genuine priest, but I also make YouTube videos, longer ones, and not live stuff usually. And you can find me, well, if you're here on YouTube, you know where I am now, and you can watch all these amazing videos of basically me walking places, visiting places, low editing, very, very little production value in there. I've got reasonable gear, so you can chuck it on your 4K TV and watch me do some interesting walks and see some lovely views and all sorts of stuff like that. And if you like, and some of them are just worth hanging around for and letting yourself go to sleep from, because it's me monotonously talking for sometimes hours on end whilst walking through some of the most beautiful countryside you see, and little kind of journeys and talking about faith and life and the Isle of Man and being a priest and all that kind of stuff, and family and whatever comes to mind, what's going on in the news at the moment, that sort of stuff. So yeah. But thanks for listening, James. Thank you for listening to it. Maybe they'll see the numbers shoot up on the people listening to it. They'll all of a sudden I'll get a call back from them. Perhaps they want me to have my own show. Where on the island is the best place for buying outdoor gear on island? So we have got there's an outdoor gear place up in Ramsey, but if you're looking south of the island, particularly, which is where probably the best shops are, don't underestimate Q stores. There's a place called Q stores, and that is an army surplus store. And honestly, why can I never remember his name? But the guy who runs it is Baz. Baz, I'm sure it is. He's brilliant. You can get some quite good outdoor gear in there. And he does not just like secondhand army surplus, he does other stuff as well. Great boots, really good boots and stuff. Worth it. But he'll do little cooking sets and stuff. That's my cup of tea. And he'll have some outdoor sort of more survivally stuff and whatever you want to do. So that's that sort of thing. For everything else in Douglas, Regatta's just closing down at the moment, but we've also got a mountain warehouse, and a Go Outdoors Express, like a smaller Go Outdoors. It used to be Millets. Go Outdoors Express. So there's and you can pick up other gear in different places depending on what you're after. So for example, they do outdoor gear at Timwell Mills, which is like a little kind of a out of town shopping centre kind of place, and quite good when they got the sales. So they'll do some of your more fancy, if you want some North Face stuff or things like that, they'll have that there. It's kind of more, it's outdoor clothes people who need a badge on it. But they do some all right stuff, and they do some regatta stuff in there, and they've usually got the same offices you can find online, so it's all right. And they do big sales there all the time. And they get nice coffee there as well. A nice place to have a bit of lunch sometimes. And there's a big toy shop. There's other household stuff there. It's kind of just like it feels like a bit like an outlet centre or something like that, but it's just a nice little shopping place to go to. So Timwell Mills, and then generally things like TK Maxx as well, and a lot of the other stuff. So yeah, you're kind of worth investing in good waterproofs and good walking shoes. But a lot of the other stuff is just what you wear, like base layers and stuff like that. You can get that from Marks and Spencer. You can get thermal underwear from Marks and Sparks. I noticed it was in there the other day. I was very tempted. I've got some already, but if you want to get out in the colder weather, which I would highly recommend you get out when it's rotten, because it's so much fun when the wind's blowing and the rain's hitting you in the face. But I'm glad you love Army Surplus stores, because I love Army Surplus stores as well. You can get some of the best, hardest wearing gear in there. And Baz is just like a fountain of knowledge and the nicest guy you'll meet. And it's absolutely chocker with stuff. And so warm weather wear. And you get like fleeces and stuff from, like, I don't know, it'd be like the Polish army fleeces unworn. And these things will be super warm and much better quality. And they're not expensive. So it's a really good place to go to. I would go there first pretty much for anything. And then obviously online for anything else that you want as well. So there's so much to choose from. But it's a bit of an outdoorsy place, so you expect it. And then, hey, you can get yourself a kayak if you want. I can get you in touch with a guy who hand makes kayaks, and you can buy all sorts of outdoorsy stuff. You can go, just everything under the sun. This is an outdoor place. You know, this whole island is really built for people who love the outdoors, including going biking, mountain biking, motorcycling, green laning, camping, hiking, walking, all sorts. Wild swimming is very popular over here. So there's loads of good places to supply the gear for that, really. There's a few little more independent-y kind of stores, and you'll pick up stuff secondhand as well. You can't swim. Better learn. What if you flood? You'll be all right. We'll get you. Can't swim. You'll have to get you in the Tim Bath race next year. I didn't enter this year because of my back, but my back's been all right. But it was actually I kind of went, could have entered, and then on the day, a couple of days before that, my back went out a bit, and I was like, I'm so glad I'm not in the Tim Bath race, because I would have had to. I'd have been sponsored, so I'd have to have done it with a bad back. It was a bit of a wet. It wasn't wet. It kind of started spitting a bit towards the end. It was a bit of a grayer day than last year. So last year was just baking. I was glad to fall in the water. But as I dressed up as Noah, and that was brilliant. But Tim Bath race, I mean, the madness you'll experience in Castletown, the world championship Tim Bath racing. Just crazy. Stuff like that's amazing. You'll get the summer fest, the summer carnival, where they absolutely fill the square with confetti. So literally, they blow this confetti all around the square, and it's covered in it. And then, bless them, the commissioners have to, the people who work for the commissioners have to tidy that up, including one of my congregation. He loves that, I'm sure. But it's just, that's loads of fun. There's the tractor runs it in the winter. The tractor runs at Christmas. Well, the tractors are lit up. All this stuff is just such good fun and such community stuff. And fireworks. We've had fireworks down on the front, and drone shows on the front. And then if you can travel to all these other places that have stuff going on, with markets in the square. We've had an infestation of fruit flies. You actually saw that on camera, and I don't know what it was. It felt like it came from some flat peaches that we had, and then they're just not leaving. And I need to get some apple cider vinegar to sort of clear them out, because that's the trick. Apple cider vinegar in a cup with tiny holes in it, and it draws them all in. But they're just so annoying because they're little flies and they don't do very much. But they do bite, so I'm sure they bite. I'm sure I got bitten by one the other day. Nasty little things, and just horrible to have them flying around the place. I don't know. It's been a warmer summer as well here, so we've had a few more flies, a couple of midges and things like that, which we didn't have the year before. Usually the breeze off the sea, you don't get the midges or the flies so much. But yeah, it's been a bit of a warmer, calmer summer. Been a really good summer, really good. What else are we up to at the moment? So I told you what I've got up for the weekend. Is there anything else exciting, Simon? Is there anything else exciting on the radar? I don't know. I kind of take, when I go out on a Monday, often it's a Monday because it's my rest day. I get one day off a week and I do that with it. So it gets me out, it gets me walking. I said I'd talk about active rest. But when I go out on a Monday, I usually kind of go, see what I'm feeling. You know, am I feeling up for getting out and doing something more? Can I plan it ahead? And I'll get my gear together, and maybe I'll do it. And I'll get myself out. When I'm on the walk, I love it. But you have to get yourself motivated, and I'll do a long trail. I'll do an hour, or I'll do 2 hours, or I'll do half an hour, visit somewhere or something. So it's less fixed, and that's just mainly because I don't want it to become too regimented that I feel like, oh, this is a drain. I can't be doing this all the time. It would easily get there. So it's about a bit of surprise and a bit of, oh, do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go here, and then I'll film it. Then I'll edit it. Then I'll set it up ready to come out. And then if you're on Patreon, you get it early, middle of the week usually, so you can watch it early. And then it comes out on the Friday. And I use software to create the clips, and the reels and the shorts and the whatever they are, the TikToks. So I use special software, and then I sit here. Doesn't take very long, and just schedule everything for the week. And then I don't spend all my week posting stuff. I literally just post kind of the once, everything done on a Monday, and then it's all scheduled and done using AI and automation, because I don't have time. It's much better way of doing things. So that's what I do, and it means I can spend time doing it, but not become distracted from my job during the week, because my job's, I'm on so many committees. I realised the other day, I think I'm on, was it 4 or 5? I'm on 5 committees, 3 main committees for the synod. So Diocese and Board of Finance, Church Commissioners, and the Vacancy and C Committee. Don't worry about what all that means. And then I'm on like a subcommittee, which is church property. I'm also on a working group for communications for the diocese, so comms, and so that's 5 committees I'm on. I had a really interesting conversation. Why don't you have time? You only work Sundays. Don't you start, Louise. That's out of order. I'm not putting up with that stuff. You can't say that to me. It really upsets me. Do you know, it's only upset me once. It's only upset me one time, and that's because the person who made the joke was a priest, and I was really tired at the time. And I said, so it was some video I put out. Some no, it was more a comment. So I get quite defensive about it. Actually, I'm Louise. It's absolutely fine. Make as many jokes as you want. I've got much thicker skin than most people anyway, and that's fine. And I make the joke myself. I only work on Sunday mornings, not even the whole day. The mornings only. But no, they'd said something under a video on a public Facebook post. They said. Oh, you can't be something about not being doing much else if I can make all these videos. And that's a real problem because it might get the idea in the heads of the congregation that I'm spending lots of time doing things, not that I have to qualify myself doing things that I'm doing for myself and not for the church in sort of work time, if you like. But there is no work time. There is no, I much as I kind of might have started this morning at sort of 7-8 o'clock. And probably didn't get finished till about 5. I've been a busy old day, and yesterday was really similar. And some nights I'll have meetings that go on till 10 o'clock at night and start at 7, because that's the nature of the job. So, and it was just like it can make it look bad, and you've got to be careful what you say. It turns out, I mean, this person was actually, has been like a minister in another church on the island, and should know better. And should have thought about that a little bit, because it's not so much that I feel bad about it. I do feel guilty sometimes. I think when I'm walking around, if I'm sitting in a coffee shop here chatting to someone, having a cup of coffee with someone from the congregation or a member of the community, quite often there's a good reason for it. If I'm sitting in a coffee shop and having a cup of coffee with someone, that's work. And I get that for some people will go, wow, that's wild. You get paid to sit and chat to people. Yeah, I do. I love it. I've also worked a pub working 6 days a week where I've got up at 7 o'clock in the morning and not finished till 3 o'clock sometimes in the morning the next day. And I've worked my backside off. And when I've been unemployed, well, I wasn't unemployed. I was made redundant twice. Both times the next day I was walking into some whatever job. I was frozen pie packing once, and another time I worked in a nightclub at about 35 or something like that. It's too old to be working behind the bar in a nightclub. And it's like, I'm a worker. I definitely don't shirk the work. I also, because my wife she works part-time, but she has got fibromyalgia, pernicious anemia, arthritis, whatever else is wrong with her, legs fall off and things like that. But no, with my wife, because she's working, she gets a bit tired. So I do all the shopping for the house, all the food shopping, and I do all the cooking. Every night I cook. And on top of that, I do all the bloke jobs around the house. So I'm fixing stuff, unblocking drains, fixing things that aren't working, computerized stuff that isn't working, anything. So I fix everything, repair everything, do all the mowing, keep looking after the garden, fixing cars, washing cars, and as well as the kind of some of the household chores, the big household chores as well. So I think I do my fair share. God, that was a rant. Nothing at you, Louise. Louise has probably gone going, oh my God, I've started him off now. I'm not going to talk to him again, but honestly. As you said before, it's 24/7 being a priest. Also, you have to be in here as well as preaching. Yeah, it's a funny old... So, I'm sorry. You probably think it's not aimed at you, Louise, either, and it's not like I'm really not bothered at all. It's a funny comment. I don't mind it at all. It's not... I wouldn't say... So, being a priest actually is the kind of the 24. I am a priest 24. That's just what I am. I'm a priest. Being a vicar, or priest in charge, but vicar is actually a job, and you kind of have to almost limit your hours on it and understand that the difference. So I'm always a priest. I am an ordained priest. But being a vicar is your job, and that's your kind of, you generally work on these days, and you report to somebody if you like, and you have something you need to do for that job. But you can get calls in the middle of the night. Good, thanks, Louise. I feel really bad. Like Louise just started me off on a rant, and she's going to be going, "Yeah, do you know? Should we move to Peel instead? That looks nice." Like today, an old friend of mine got in contact, and this old friend of mine is his mum. I'll talk about it here. I'm sure he's not watching. If he is, Ty, mate, I'm just generally chatting. I hope it's okay. If you're in here, just go, shut up. Type shut up and I'll go. But a good guy, really good guy, that I knew from my pub days when we ran the pub. And we kind of kept in touch, but mainly just the people we share Facebook with, that sort of thing. But he's done well for himself. He's worked really hard. He's always worked hard. So I know him anyway. It's nothing to do with this, but he just messaged me today to talk about a member of his family who is. I'm trying to keep it a little less direct about who it is, who um, uh, was on life support, and they were going to be removing life support. And so you respond, and I'm really happy to hear from him. Really sad for the circumstances I'm hearing from him. But what an absolute privilege! What an absolute privilege to have someone feel that they can reach out to you in their moment of need. Wow, absolutely unbelievable. And I'm so sorry for him going through watching someone die, which is really hard. I've been there. I more than once because of my job. I go to the hospital to help people on their way. It sounds a bit dark, but just kind of be with them and to talk to them, or even if they can't hear me. And I've been there. But yeah, he needed a bit of someone to kind of vent to, and I was there and was able to, because I had the service this afternoon at King William's College, I was able to light a candle there for this person and say a prayer, and that's kind of what you do. And that can happen. I can get a phone. So if I get a phone call in the middle of the night, I'm off. It doesn't happen a lot. But it happens. And sometimes it'll be a message about, yeah, bless. Sometimes it'll be a message about just someone feeling a bit down and they needed to say hello, or you might have a late phone call with someone because they're in a bit of a dark spot. And that's what you do. A lot of it goes unseen. Most of my job. I've got a prayer group. That's what I did this week. I've got a prayer group. And this prayer group has been set up particularly to pray for me and my ministry. And it seems that's quite self-centered, isn't it? Having your own prayer group. It's really, I'd say most vicars don't have that. But it's a particular group that says, what are your needs at the moment? And we'll pray for them. And we've got like 7 people in the group. Really good. Seven. But this is one of the times where I've gone and visited when they're meeting. So I don't usually join them for the meeting. I might send them an email with some of the things that are on my mind, things we need to be praying for the church and for me and for my family as well. And I sat there and I started telling them about my week and the things I'm doing. And I think there was a little bit of shock, because I do tons of stuff that I don't even think about. I just I've done it. So I did the radio interview on Radio 4 on Sunday. Off the back of that, I've been contacted by the neuroscience department in the university in Oxford University, a particular doctor there who is researcher there who they're looking at. I won't go into it because I probably shouldn't talk too much about it, but it was linked to AI and VR, virtual reality, and artificial intelligence, and they want me involved, if you like, a little bit on this thing, give some input on it. And I've been involved in other research projects as well. So I got the message about that. So suddenly I'm reading through loads of papers on this I can't neuroscience, but neuroscience project. I just met with recently the Minister for Justice and Home Affairs and the Chief Officer for Home Affairs, talking about knife crime on the island because of where I've come from. Hilarious. All this talking I'm doing. Thank you. All this talking I'm doing. I'd tap the top. I've got a button on the top of my mic that makes it. Oh, now I've got to think about what I was talking about. I don't even know when you stopped hearing me. But anyway, I met with the Chief Minister for the chief minister for Home Affairs, or chief officer for Home Affairs, and the minister for Justice and Home Affairs, talking about knife crime and things like that. So, talking about how we can educate young people without turning it into them worrying about knives. So we had a murder that took place on the island not so long ago of a young guy called Chris who lived in Castletown. It happened up in Ramsey. Really isolated case and horrendous. It doesn't matter that there's only one case of it. It's still terrible, terrible. But it's not. You have to understand it a little bit more to understand this is not. It's not something that's spreading across the island like wildfire or anything. It's just not that sort of place. However, how do you communicate it without making kids worry about it? So they all decide to start, not they all, but some of them will start carrying knives because they hear other people are carrying knives and so on and so forth. I'm sure Chris's friend group, there might be some young lads in that might be more considering carrying something with them now, and that's not the right way to go. But it's only very small pockets of these problems. But we're just talking about that and actually just creating safe environments for young people. So, there's an ad break coming up on Twitch. I'm sure I'm going to make millions from the no people who are watching. There you go. I don't think that's going to be an ad break on YouTube, is it? Don't think so. I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you don't get ads on. No, I can't. I'm not down for ads, and I don't get any money. So working with that, and that's the kind of week. So working with the neuroscience department in Oxford, talking with the MHKs, which are members of the House of Keys, and ministers in government, taking a service for King William's College. We had prayer meetings and a morning prayer, preparing for services, talking to a baptism family, going to do home visits, meeting with various other people over different matters, committee meeting that was church commissioners, talking about vacancies on the island, like clergy vacancies and church buildings a little bit, and some other items we have to go through, which is kind of like, it's like a 2-hour boring meeting. It's what needs to be done. And so I think I was travelling backwards and forwards to Douglas a couple of times and doing that. And that's I do way more than some, because I am on committees which have to have a clergy member on them, and I'm not all clergy are on any committees. I'm on 3 plus a subcommittee plus a working group. Plus I've got on 2 churches. Also, I'm looking to launch a new church within the church, and a wellbeing cafe that I'm working on at the moment. And what else is going on? Hard to keep my head around it all. Is that all? Is that all? Yeah, it's funny. It's fine. It's well within my capacity. At times I'm tired, but do you know when you're doing something you absolutely love? I hope you do. Louise, I don't know if you said your husband's looking to work out. Is it Blue and 2, isn't it? I thought it might be a copper because it sounds like blues and 2s. That's what we used to call the lights we used to use on the police car. We put the blues on, the blues and 2s, because it's blue lights and 2 tones. So I wonder if he's an ex-copper. But I don't know if you're coming over as the person who's going to be perhaps got a role or job over here or what's happening. But yeah, if you've probably done jobs in the past and stuff like that. But if you've got a job, if you've got something you absolutely love, I wouldn't say it's never worked. That's never quite true. I mean, I don't know what job it'd be that you'd really love it that much that it never felt like work. But it's such a privilege to do what I do. It's crazy good. It's crazy good. Man City fan. That's a biker. I see. So please tell him that he's no longer welcome on the island. Being a Man City fan, we won't put up with that stuff. How dare you even consider bringing a Man City? It's bad enough my wife's a Man United fan. Without a Man City fan, being a gooner myself. What a terrible match that was the other day. Yeah, mate. Actually, most of the fans over here seem to be Liverpool, because Liverpool's so close. It's just over on the ferry, so there's loads of Liverpool fans. Yeah, but yeah, if you, it's because it's so varied that I love it, because it's so different, and you get involved in so much stuff, and a lot of it is trying to make people's lives better, um, which is something quite powerful. Is that your basic main job is, and my obviously, I'd like to people to come to Christ, and that will be me getting all religious for a moment. But yeah, genuinely, I think most people's lives are healed by coming to church and just come along. And it's just the most amazing place for healing, for help, for support, for community. And most people go, it's not really my cup of tea. I don't really do church, probably because they've heard so many people say horrible things about it, and I get that. But one of my church wardens was, and one of the people of the prayer group that prays for me is a guy called Ron, who never went to church, never darkened the doors of a church until just over a year ago, when his wife died, Angie, and I took the funeral. So I went round to see him, and we did it, and we chatted, and we talked, and we stuck up, and I said, you need anything, give us a shout, and he gave me a shout. So we had coffee and chatted and stuff like that, and he started coming along to church services. He's now my church warden. Just over a year later, he's my church warden, and he's in my prayer team. It's crazy. This guy's in his 70s, and loads of energy. He's a biker as well. Top thing. He's a biker. So yeah, I just think that's big part of my job is obviously I want people to come to Christ, so I'll preach and I'll teach and I'll invite and I'll keep doing that stuff. So anybody here who's over here or wants to come here, and everybody's welcome at any of my churches or any of the churches on the island. I try to get people to go to church, not necessarily have to come to my church, but my church is the best. But yeah, it's like a lot of my job. It might be I'm sorting out someone at the moment whose husband has just come back out of hospital, Phil, and she's got type 1 diabetes, so she had a few collapses in the church before. We keep like the stuff she needs by to make her feel better, but she's struggling obviously with him back. She's older lady, he's quite elderly, and with all these health problems, and he's just got back out of hospital. It's like I need to sort it out and help it out. And we've got a group called MCOWs, which has got another name in the UK. It's more like is it not pathways? It's some kind of like they help out patients, and the MCOWs will sort out, working with MCOWs to sort her out the support she needs. So that's part of my job. I pick up food from Olio. So Olio is like a waste food program. I stuff loads of bread in my chest freezer that's supposed to be for our food, but it's always full of bread for other people. I fill it full of bread, chest freezer is full of bread, and if people need a bit of food, an extra loaf of bread, French stick or something like that, I get it to them, sometimes with leftover bunches of flowers and things like that. And it just helps people out a little bit. Pals, that's it. Pals, you're right, Louise. I should know it. You've had to use it, no doubt. I've had to use it before when treatment's not been quite up to standard, or where the way the doctors have acted and not been quite right. So yeah, Pals it is. But we've got MCOWs over here, and they're fantastic, and we have them coming. And then it'd be just sometimes sitting with people, having a cup of coffee and a chat when they're feeling a bit lonely, helping people out, visiting people when they're ill, and then just generally helping out. But you kind of just going, I want your life to be better than it is at this moment in time. I want somehow to see if I can make your life a little bit better if I can, or at least not as bad. Sometimes you go, I don't need it to be like all joy and love and happiness all the time, but just if I didn't have, Lord, just give me a day off, or perhaps we need to work out how we get you a day off, that sort of thing. So respite or whatever it is you might need. So yeah, that sort of stuff. James, I know and it sounds like it probably could sound like I lack humility, and I'm going, look at me, I'm a great, lovely person. There's people who don't come to church who are just as lovely and nice, but it's the thing that inspires me, my faith. But it's really kind of you to say so. But that's what you do, is just making people's lives a bit better. Some of that's the videos. The videos is YouTube stuff is. It gets me out, it gets me video, and it's an interest and stuff like that. But I know people now are kind of going, I look forward to that on a Friday evening, we'll sit and watch that and just chill out for a bit and watch someone witter on for as I have done here for nearly an hour and 36 minutes. There you go. Oh, lots with your daughter, yeah. Bless you. Yeah, I've just been there. I'm not religious, but I do feel spiritually healed when I'm there. Massive. I tell you, 100%. There's something very spiritual about this island. I know there's lots of mythology and folklore and bits and bobs like that, but I think nature is healing. That's what heals me. It's healed me since I've been here. I went through quite a lot in my last post. It was very successful. I had suffered with bullying. I had people with mental health problems harassing me, and you can't blame them for that. But I had some quite nasty experiences. I would list it. I'm not going to list all the terrible things that kind of happened, because it wasn't why I left at all. It was more for the kids that we moved here, and just because we really felt a call to come here. But this place is healing, massively healing. Literally the healing waters, nature, the sounds, there's so you can sit on a cold wet day, you can sit in your front room and you can watch the telly, and it kind of just feels a bit grumpy and miserable. When it's howling wind outside and the rain's battering the window, and it's like a proper strong wind, like gale force winds, and you're sat there curled up in front of the fire, it feels different. Like, it's extreme. But when it's like a windy day and you're out and about and it's dry and it's sunny, but it's blowing a gale, it just makes you feel alive. So it's just a really, really living place. And it is spiritual. There's loads of churches all over the place. There's lots of little keels, as they are, the little chapels, remains of keels. There's history. There's a deep sense of history to the place. And just nature and people and the spirit of this place is incredible. So yeah, get that. Blowing a hoolie, indeed, when it's blowing a hoolie. Evening, Treg, how you doing? Nice to hear from you. Mr. Starters have been in the woods making a brew, trying out my new Tregisto. Whoa, nice one. We love that, mate. Excellent. I have a thing. Absolutely, you need to go out and get yourself a little Trangia or one of these little puck that I use quite often. I've got too many stoves. We won't go into that. It's a bit of a stove addiction. Every wild camp was the same. We have way too many of them. But you get yourself a little. They're so cheap. You get yourself a little setup with a mug, and you carry a bottle of water with you, and you go out and you make a cuppa out somewhere where there's nobody around. There's no water. You brought the water with you. You brought the tea, and you make yourself a cup of tea or I have coffee, but a cup of coffee or something. And it just slows you down, and it's good. Did you enjoy it, Treg? Did you have a nice time? Would you get the Trangia triangle or something like that? Like, you get the little Trangia with a little triangle stand on. I'll bore you now with like stuff about stoves, because everyone loves stoves. But where's my kit? Probably still in my bag. A tin. Sorry. Oh, for goodness sake. It's around here somewhere. I've got too many anyway. Can't believe it. I don't even know how it went down to the bottom of the box. I must have been rooting about something else. But that's my kit. So that's what I carry, and that's got my little puck stove in it, my stand and stuff. It's got everything, spoon. I keep the coffee in there, little sachets of instant coffee and things like that. And that's what I use. And it's great, and it's one of the best things I bought. Yes, it's the triangle stand I have with it. Yeah, cool. You had the jet. Oh, wow. For a long time, but don't like how noisy it's. No, it is noisy. It's a clever bit of kit, and it's great for when it's really. I think it's supposed to be really good when it's super cold, but for general use, it's probably not worth it. But the Trangia with the triangle stand is so small, so it's basically 3 bits of metal that turn into a stand, and you put the Trangia stove in the middle of it, and you can put your cup on top. How easy is that? And it packs up nice and small. Here is the silence in nature, but yeah. as it's I find that with the gas stoves as well, but they are useful if you're cooking a lot. I take my frying pan out, so I've got a small pan that I use to cook steak on and eggs and things like that. But yeah, I could go out for a full camp for a few days with one of these with enough fuel and be able to make all my brews and all my food on this, which is, I mean, you've got a big enough pot. There's a cup inside the pot, so the pot's big enough to make like noodles or something like that. Trangia system is really good, really compact. But yeah, I've got that. This is what someone gave me, so I might have to move back a bit for this. But look at that. Looks like a donut from The Simpsons. But I've got one of the ladies that kind of supports. She's a member, kind of a member of the congregation. She doesn't always come. She struggles a little bit, and she was wanting to support the channel and like, I'm gonna sign up to Patreon. I was like, don't spend your money on it. It's there if you want it, but you really don't need to. I said, I do appreciate you whether you put money into it or not. It doesn't matter. But she's been going on Temu and buying me stuff. So I've got like a seat pad that she got me. But this is a chair, and it's quite heavy. So I'll put it in my bag or something, because it's not lightweight. Definitely not lightweight, but it is really interesting. So I will use it. I don't know whether to show it off here first. Should I show it in a video first? We'll show it here. You're going to get the first look. Now I'm going to make sure it stays. I'm going to make sure it stays in frame so you can see it. But this is crazy. I don't know if anyone here has ever seen anything like it. But it's just He says, does it twist? So you pull it. It's spring loaded, and then you twist it. Look at that. It's like my, I don't know, mushroom stump to sit on. I've sat on it. It didn't break. It's really clever. And I don't think it's the lightest seat I've got. I've got a full backed seat and things. She was worried I was getting uncomfortable on the low seat, and I'm fine with that. But I'm going to take this, because what a piece of kit this is. Look at that. Going back down to that sort of size. There we go, head size. There you go. It's not as small as my other chair. It's not as small as my other chair packed away, but it's what a clever bit of kit. It's so cool, isn't it? What? It's just, I'm like going, and it's like, it's plastic, but it's got like a rubberized grippy top to it. And I'm going, that's kind of cool. I don't know. So that's going to be in my next kit. I love stuff. Look at this. This is my poo kit. Gotta have a poo kit. I've probably shown this before. I get so excited about poo kits, but it's got like tissues in it that I need. But it's a portable bidet. You have your bottle of water. You have this little thing that you put on top, and it's got a little kind of, where is it? Yeah, it's that side. It's got like a little slit, and that'll spray water up your bum. And I've got the little shovel, light titanium shovel to take with me as well. And in that is everything pretty much I need. Oh, I needed to pick up some Purell to go in that. I need to put some hand sanitizer. I'd much rather wash my hands, to be honest with you. Sanitizer is great, but if you were to get something on your hands, then you need to wash them properly. But probably some hand wipes and soap and like a Purell kind of thing, as I say, but alcohol stuff. But it's amazing, the gadgets. They're not always that expensive, but that's a really handy one to have. So, just kind of like a toadstool. Looks like a Dalek. It does. It's got that kind of, I think, when she said she bought me a chair, and I was like, well, I kind of got a chair. I feel bad. Now I've seen it, I'm going, that's so cool. I will take it with me, and I'll show it off from one. So because you've watched the live stream, you get to see it early. But I'll have to take it on my trips. She only gave it to me, I think, this week. Maybe it was Monday. Can't remember. But yeah, she dropped it in, and I was like, this is so cool. I'll have that. She couldn't, bless her, she couldn't even pull it apart. But it's got quite a spring on it. But hey, Temu stuff, honestly, it can be a mixed bag. But when you see some cool novelty gadgets, you kind of go, give it a go. Give it a go. It's worth it. One of my stoves, he says, too many bits. Anyway, one of my stoves, a bit like a Trangia style stove, I've got is like that, and it's quite cool. And perhaps I'll get a bit more bits out in the future, but that's quite a cool little gadget. And I do love novelty stuff, and yeah, Timu is just really handy for it. You can pick up some really cool little items that, especially if it's like a titanium shovel and stuff like that. And you start looking at those on Amazon, and even in the shops for Amazon, they want like £20 for a titanium shovel, and it's like, it's not worth 20 quid. It really isn't. You're digging a hole to poo in. It's just not worth it. But other bits that they do are quite good, and other bits you'll get will be crap. I've got lighting. I've got some of my stuff might be in the garage. I've got like a shelving unit in the garage. There's a lot of my camping gear on, all organised. So some of that is stored away, so it might be in there. I tend to carry different kind of boxes of kit. Oh, how OCD am I? So I'll have like these clear plastic boxes when we're car camping, which I can just go, oh, this is this kit, and it's got the particular tent, sleeping bags, bits for that, and a water bottle and a stove and the cooking gear that we need, and blah blah blah. And I can just throw it in there, and we're pretty much done. And so you can just go, oh, weather's good, grab and go. That's what you need. Twig stove. Oh, what have I got? Have I got a twig stove at the moment? Have I got a twig stove? I don't think. I think I keep looking at them. Oh, I've got the round one. Again, that's out in the other room. But I've got it's not a stove though. It's more just for having fires. That's the only thing I'm a bit gutted about. But I do use it. But it's like the like it makes it burns stuff really efficiently. But I didn't get the one which has like the stove bit on top. I was a bit, yeah, you get the big ones. Tesco's do them every now and again where they'll have them on offer, and they're like, because usually, again, those boxes are quite expensive. And they have them on offer, and they're about £5 or £6 each, or if less, or they buy two, get one free, and you can get them really cheaply. But they go on. I got some metal racking that I've got across, like, I've got 4 shelves, and I put a load of some of my tools and stuff like that. But I then have clear boxes and sleeping bags and tents, bits and bobs, because I kind of had too much stuff, but I have different things. Like I've got my tent, my 2-person tent that I use for like better weather and have a bit more space, and I've got my one person tent that I use for when it's really windy. We've also got a big family sort of 4-person tent as well, like a big more like a decathlon family one. So I've got my Bobcat, and I've got my lantern too. So I've got different tents, and then we've picked up. There was a camping place, or they used to hire out camping kits over here. A lot of time for people coming over the island for like there were bikers, TT and stuff. So they'd have full on kits with plates and knives and forks and all sorts of gas cookers and stoves and things like that. And they were kind of closing down and get rid of the old kit. And I just picked up sleeping mats, sleeping bags, all brand new sleeping bags with the tags still on them for next to nothing, like 5 of this, 10 for that. And I just stocked up, because it's also quite nice that people can come to me and say, probably wouldn't use it with my better tents, but can come to me and because I do have some pop-up decathlon tents as well, which they're the 3-second instant tents, not like the kind of pop-up ones, but they work like umbrellas. So I've got a couple of those as well. So people do go, oh, I'd love to go camping, and they kind of want to try it out. I can throw them a sleeping bag that hasn't had my teenagers sweating in them, and a couple of mats, and it won't be the lightest gear, and it won't be the best gear. And I've even got a couple of like rucksacks spare and stuff like that. The backpacks. So I can kit someone out pretty much with stuff that I'm not too disappointed if it gets broken or damaged or lost or whatever. So I've got that sort of kit, because I do kind of lend stuff out. If people go, I've always fancied it, and I go, let me know, and you can borrow the gear. Again, that kind of little bit about making people's lives a bit better. It's just a really nice thing to stuff to have around. The ice clear boxes are great though. Just chuck it in the car. I've guess you got the good thing I mentioned about Q stores earlier. That army surplus place. You got to watch it when he has the army blankets in. I got some like new ones, but the proper thick army wool blankets. They are awesome. They're they're heavy, but if you're car camping, they are really warm. They'll also keep you warm when they're wet, because it's wool. It'll keep you warm still when it's wet. They're fire retardant, so you have it around a fire. All this synthetic stuff, you know, it may not burst into flames, but it'll probably melt. When a lot of synthetics to a degree, but down stuff, if it gets wet, it doesn't keep you warm anymore. So yeah, they're very, and you can use it as a picnic blanket, or you can use it to just put over your shoulders when you're sitting around the fire of a cold evening, or you can put it over the top of your sleeping bag, and they're so useful. So I've got a couple of the army blankets in there as well. What did you have on the beach at Doon Glen? I call it a stove. It's really just a fire pit. No, yeah, that's that stove. Yeah, it's a fire pit. That's exactly what I've got. I've got the same as you. It's quite good. Works really well. But I used my small kit, so I used my because it's only for a cuppa. I mean, I've shown off some of the other stoves that I've got, and I've got some cool stuff that I really like, fire maple gear stuff that I really like. Although they've just the one I bought with the was it the fire maple leaf and G3 pot. They've just updated it so it locks onto the stand, and I'm like, oh, I could have done with that, but it'll work. It'll do its job. But yeah, I got these like gas stoves. I'll definitely take them with me on the winter camps because they're a little bit more useful, and I can always get like a gas lantern and things like that. Although I do have some normal fuel lantern. So I've got my proper lantern with a glass in it. And that I got from Temu, but it's German made. It's actually a German one, and it is a genuine German hurricane lamp. And that just gets filled up actually usually with citronella lamp oil, because you can use it then to keep the bugs away at the same time as giving you some light. So I use like the lantern as well. I've always got, so my study is like people coming in for meetings and things, and apart from I've got like helmets, which you'll see which side there, like helmets from video games and stuff, and record players and vinyl, and dragons up on the shelf above me, and all sorts of things. If you look a bit further up, you'll see that I've got Star Trek Voyager up there and all sorts of weird stuff, because that's just more me. So but I've also got, even though I've got the space in the garage, I also do have loads of stuff around me all the time. With there's one of my favourite things. It was on charge. I've just dropped a bit. What have I dropped? Oh, that's all right. That's nothing important. So I've got my. It's not an ad. It's not an ad. I've got my Flex Tail pump I use for pumping up my mat. Still feel like I've got something. This power bank that I use, it's quite heavy. It's not the best. I wouldn't have thought it won't be that good, but it's worked, and I've taken it with me, and it works fine. And I've got this, which is like and it looks quite big, and it is quite heavy, but it doesn't. It folds out to solar panels. Now that's not going to do a lot. But in an emergency, you've got nothing left on your battery on your phone for some reason, and everything else has run out. The fact you might be able to get 1%, 2% and send a text, that's all you need. That's all you need. Oh, it's also got things like it's got a, is it double click? What is it? I can't remember how you do this. There you go. So it's got a light built into it. And my theory is that everything that you take camping should have a light built into it. It should always have a lamp. Whether it be a power bank or a stove, or I don't know, everything should have that on it. Oh bless. Sorry, I just had a message from someone I haven't heard from for a while. Yeah, it's a I just love all the stuff with the camping, the wild camping and bits like that. It's just really good. The citronella, so you say too. The glow of a paraffin lantern, it kind of feels like you're going back a bit, you know. I also to tell you what, and citronella, yeah, using citronella, it's the smart thing to do. I've also got a little candle burner. Is it Yuko, whatever it is, the kind of little stuff that I've got a candle lamp that I use citronella candles in. That sort of stuff is. Oh, I could show you all sorts of stuff. Don't start me getting into the gear. But I've got like a cheap. Oh, here we go. Mr. Twitch person being an idiot. There we go. Let's just get rid of you. Ban. Sorry, I just had the only person that came into my Twitch channel was to ask me to buy followers. Usual stuff. That was the joy of Twitch. But yeah, what have I got here? So I've got my little Yuko citronella candle lantern. And that's really good. I put the citronella candles in it, hang that up somewhere. And they do work. They're not going to be perfect, but they work to a degree. So, get that smell of citronella from there. And I keep that. That's the case actually for my portable speaker, which my Anchor portable speaker. I don't take with me generally because I don't like making the places noisy. You know, you go out into nature and some person in a tent nearby is playing rock music from a Bluetooth speaker. That would just be horrible. But I use the Bluetooth speaker for all sorts in church, mainly church stuff. It's just, you know, playing some music. I walk around with it playing Bob Marley in a service as part of a sermon. There you go. That's how mad I am. And it was a Don't Worry. Don't worry about a thing. And I got them. So that was the thing. I was like, all right, what's that song called? And they were like going, oh, Don't Worry. Nope. And they're like, what? Who's it by? Oh, Bob Marley. But what's it called? Yes, Don't Worry. It's Don't Worry About a Thing. And they're all trying to, nope, because it's Three Little Birds, isn't it? No one remembers it's Three Little Birds. Unless I expect if you're a particular fan, you probably would. What music do I like? So when I was younger, I worked at a music store called R Price. It doesn't exist anymore. But I worked at R Price. And I was just like out of school, and I just kind of left my job that I was doing when I was at school, which was McDonald's. And I got a job in our price, and it was a great job because all I did all day basically, I was in a shopping centre which was dead all day, but got busier in the evenings. So you just did nothing all day because there's nothing to do. My manager used to sit at the back, and he was a pretty good guy, Phil. He used to go at the back, and we had a Mega. In those days, it was we sell games as well, Mega Drive, and he would play the Mega Drive out the back, and I'd be serving customers, and then we'd swap over and we'd put stock out and do what we could, get everything done so quickly. But there had to be a manager there, and there had to be a member of staff. So I'd just be out the front, and he'd be out the back playing games, and then he'd swap over for an hour, and I'd go at the back and play games, and then he'd just call each other out if he got busy, you know, because it was nothing during the daytime. Evenings and weekends were the only busy times. But that made me quite broad in the sort of music that I liked. So because everyone there kind of like we're into different things. So I like some singer-songwriters that I came across at the time. So I listened to someone called Amy Mann, and my daughter Amy is AIMEE. Amy is named after Amy Mann. She was never very happy about it. She's not been particularly a fan of her music, but she's written a few. One is the loneliest number. One is the loneliest number. That she wrote that, but she kind of lost her moment of massive stardom because of an issue with Sony. She had a disagreement with Sony where basically they decided not to release any of her music, but they owned it, so she couldn't do anything with it. It was all like kind of the weird stuff that went on with Sony. But then we'd hear some it's like metal, rock, everything from mainstream, kind of what was coming out at the time. I think it was Boom Shake the Room. I remember selling that on single to people. DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Boom Shake the Room. That was out in the charts forever. But I'd listen to, I like pop. I like, but it's made me kind of keep listening to music as well. So what have I got? I mean, I could show you. I've got some vinyl behind me. A lot of compilation stuff, but I've got like Queen, but I also have ABBA. I've got no crumbs in saying I love some of ABBA's music. I think it's amazing. But I've been listening to my daughter's been sharing some stuff with me. I can't remember who it is now, but she introduced me to Chapel Roan before the big launch. She introduced me to Chapel Roan a few years ago, before her big big time. So Chapel Roan, I've listened to that. Billie Eilish, I listen to that. My kids seem to like that. My son's just getting back into Radiohead, so a bit of Radiohead. Nirvana, love Nirvana. I must admit, I probably didn't get into Bleach, but Smells Like Teen Spirit is amazing. And that sort of era, you know, Lithium and that kind of stuff. So yeah, I was kind of a bit of a Nirvana fan, but I wasn't a real grungy. I just loved music, so I just listened to everything. But I'd listen to like classic rock as well. So I listened to a load of old stuff. I was introducing my daughter and I were singing all the way home from a thing today, and we had some Stevie Wonder, Superstition, playing classic, and everything. I just have a mix on, and it's so eclectic, it's unbelievable. But I also will then switch over the channel and listen to like Radio 3 or Classic FM, because why not? I quite like listening to classical music. I don't know much about it. A little bit through the church, because I'm quite often, for certain services, we might have weddings and funerals. We might have some classical music at the start or the end or during it. And I've listened to bits in the past, but I don't really know classical music. But I don't mind listening to it. And I've listened to some amazing pieces. I was listening to some today, and it was it today or yesterday? And they were playing part of the classical piece on guitar, but it was like the introduction to the classical piece was like almost like Spanish flamenco strumming. But yeah, there you go. Oh wow, you're into like proper like Slipknot and Korn. Yeah, I never got into Slipknot or Korn, but yeah, very popular. But that's a real kind of that kind of music. So some people are really into a particular genre, and that's fine. But I listen to some rap. I love Eminem. There's an artist called Dave, just Dave, and if you know him, you'll know that sort of. He's more like a poet, really. Biffy Clyro, they're back. Biffy Clyro is back. They've got a new album coming out. I take it. I saw them doing a live session the other day. They were covering something. They were covering that new anime K-pop-y type K-pop. Like, is it Demon Hunters? They covered that. Oh, Claire de Lune. Is that from Twilight, though? Be honest. Is that from Twilight? But Claire de Lune is a beautiful, beautiful piece of music. A bit of Debussy's nice. We had Adagio for strings for my wedding. Our wedding coming in, and I had joked that we probably have the we were going to have the I said I was going to take it from the Platoon album, because it's got all the gunshots and the missiles blowing up in it, and like the grenades and things. It's been your favourite to chart. Fair enough. We'll let you off that one then. It's a magical piece of music. That's one that really touches you. I don't know anyone who could listen to that and go, no, I don't really like it. It's like you don't have to know anything or even like classical music to listen to that and go, wow, it does something to your emotion. It's one of the best pieces of music I've ever heard. But yeah, I love it. Claire de Lune. See, already quite a variety there. I think of anything else that I really love. I just so many Vivaldi Four Seasons. Yeah, I used to like Planets as well. Is it Handel? But yeah, Four Seasons is good, and that gives you, because they really do feel like those seasons, don't they? I mean, you got spring. It just feels like things are sprouting from the earth, and you can almost visualize it, can't you? So absolutely, but yeah, it's what can I say? I'd say the thing is, it's great because I've had that background in sort of listening to music and selling music and being involved in it. I just love music, and there's some stuff that I listen to. I go, no, it's just noise. I don't like it, but I love a bit of the folk music we get. It's so much folk music over here, and I love listening to like different forms of folk music. There you go. You know, spring is your favourite, is it? Yeah, it's good. Yeah. It's just you can't not recognise. Everyone must know that piece of music. If they don't know it's like spring, they'll know it because it's just and you could almost say, if you had to guess, I think you could guess the season because it just feels like it. Bit of Dylan, bit of Bob Dylan. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of do. I haven't watched the film or anything. Rolling Stone, is that one? I like that. How does it feel? How does it feel? That one. I like that. It's like loads. So one of the songs today in the car was Elton John. I guess that's why they call it the blues. And I love that tune. I'm not a massive Elton John fan, but I love it. Strange to think that today's kids won't ever know the buzz of going down to HMV. And they exist, but they're not quite the same. Picking up a new album and taking it home, hoping it's actually any good. Yeah, it's too easy to find out, isn't it? You kind of go by word of mouth or what you hear on the radio. You used to hear it on the radio. And do you know what? The kids are getting into the vinyl and stuff again. Cassettes. I bought my wife last Christmas I think it was, sort of refurbished boombox, she's been, but she uses it not to listen to music. I think she had a little bit of music, but she listens to audiobooks. Some of them like old, so some of them don't turn out to her. One of them broke when she tried it out. But you can get new cassettes now, and she gets the audiobooks on cassette and listens to them when she sounds really exciting, I know. She listens to them while she's doing her jigsaw. Because one of my kids moved out, we changed one of the rooms into her own space. So she has a jigsaw table. She has the sometimes audiobooks playing. And she has a dressing table in there, and the full wardrobe is all her clothes and everything's. It's just her space. I think that's quite important. But you can still go and you can pick up vinyl from the record stores, can't you? It's just not quite the same. But Richie Kavanagh from Ireland, no, I don't think so. One of my buddies is from Ireland, and every now and again he sends me a video of someone just singing in the pub, and it's just like the best singing I've ever heard and the best musicians I've ever heard. But we get that in over here as well. But I don't think I've heard of Richie Kavanagh. Let me note that one. Richie Kavanagh. You might have to send me a message and remind me. I remember there was a. Do you remember the song called Tom's Diner? There was an album which was basically an album because it went. What people don't realise with Tom's Diner, I can't remember the artist now. But Tom's Diner kind of, I think it was released before, and then it was kind of released by this artist and became really big. But what happened was it became viral in a very different way in those days, and everyone was doing covers of it in different styles. So you could listen to all these different styles of the same song. And there was even a comedy version. And basically, it was this album, this cassette. Both sides, every single song was Tom's Diner. I don't know why I bought it, but it was really good. It was really good. I loved it anyway. All your music on your phone, yeah. Most of us now, but I kind of got hankering at the moment, and I know it's kind of the same technology, and I don't know why I'd want it. But I was wondering, Giorgio Moroder. No, don't know Giorgio Moroder. God, keep them coming. I will get them up on playlists and stuff like that. Don't know Giorgio Moroder. I'll keep an eye out. A lot of the time, sometimes it's just music I like, and I don't even think about artists. I've got a massive, I'll show you, I used to DJ, so all the many things I used to DJ in the pub that we ran. I've got like the big metal cases with CDs in for when I used to DJ, like travel cases. Suzanne Vega, of course it was. I wasn't sure whether she did the original or whether it was hers. But it was Suzanne Vega, but maybe it's because it was remixed by someone to make it the song that we kind of remember. But yeah, she was Tom's Diner, and then it was just all these different versions of it. But I've got a real hankering. It's the anniversary soon of the iPod, and I think they should release like an iPod, basically, of some description, maybe with the wheel on it. They could do that. The other thing about that is that there's a massive change in schools where they don't want kids bringing phones in, and some of the schools have banned phones completely, and others aren't so bad. But I don't know. I actually agree that kids probably shouldn't be needing phones in school. All the security rubbish and stuff like that. We live in a safer society than we have ever lived. We just hear about more bad stuff, so we worry about it more. But kids aren't really allowed to take in some places their phones anymore. Well, imagine if they could still take their music. A lot of them are listening to music. If they could take a device again, do you think I think they would sell hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of iPods, like a kind of like a shuffle or something like that. But something that needs to have the wheel and a little bit of a screen. Keep it really simple. Maybe not even allowing video, but video would probably make it more useful. Just a small little device. I would get that. I'd love to think about just leave the phone behind and just take some music with me. But also, if you want to listen to music these days, the phones last all right. If you've been using it a lot and you listen to music as well, the battery starts to go and you go, this device that I've got for all the convenience, I've run out because I've been listening to my favourite Barry Manilow or something like that. Is it TikToks or Reels or something? There's a couple of because the algorithm's been giving me stuff I've been clicking on, and I've been clicking on. Because I grew up in the 80s. Sorry, I'm that old. I grew up in the 80s. I was born in the 70s, but I love my 80s music. But there's a couple of retro kind of reels that kind of come up with like videos, and you just go, oh man, this was so good. And a lot of it, they do the Journey, Don't Stop Believing and all that kind of rubbish, which is like, it's great, but it's been overplayed this time round. But it'll play some classics. I was Erasure, Little Respect we were playing in the car earlier today. But I've been listening, like, they call it yacht rock, and 80s stuff. So, and I'll just randomly listen to stuff that I haven't heard. A couple of my favourite artists in the 80s was Nick Kershaw and it'll come to me. So I love Nick Kershaw. I thought it was brilliant. And there's another one I was listening to anyway. And they're both like music producers now, or were music writers and things. Marilyn Manson. No, not really. I'm not really keen. I don't even know what I might know of Marilyn Manson's. He's never come across. It's just not come across me. Those stamp-sized touchscreen iPod Nanos from about 15 years ago with it peaked to me. Yeah. Because they're so light and convenient, and little plug-in headphones. It was all right. Great for everything. You could run with them. They're discreet. They could hold enough tunes. Whatever it carried. Limp Bizkit, Linkin Park, where Winchester was there. So yeah, this is not now. My son started getting into My Chemical Romance as well now, as well as Radiohead and some stuff like that. Sounds right up his alley. He'd be into like Linkin Park and Biscuit, but that was probably not my cup of tea. Not that I'm saying I hated it. It just really didn't do anything for me. But I get why some people love that stuff. Because there's certain of that kind of, and some of the goths type stuff. I don't know what that is. I say My Chemical Romance and things, but there's some of that I love. There's like, what's that? I'm gonna think of it. I'm gonna sing it in my head. No, that's not right. I can't remember. I write something, not tragedies, or something. What's that one? Because that is a tune. I like songs with auto tunes. No. I sometimes do it for the effect, and when it's proper, like Cher and Life After Love or whatever that one was. But then I think a lot of them, they just can't sing live. But there's some good stuff out. There's still good stuff out. That's the thing. You shouldn't get to. Oh, the only good music was put in the time that I was a kid, because I get my kids to introduce me. Like they say, oh, I really love this Panic at the Disco. Panic at the Disco, and I'm really. But it's just I write songs, not tragedies. Is it, or something like that? That's the one. So it's something like that, but that is a tune. It's a tune, and you bang it up on the stereo, and it's like, yeah, I think it's clever. I like the writing, so I pick up a lot on the writing and the lyrics. I like songs with lyrics. I like songs that tell stories or have have something clever in there, you know, have a message, bits like that. Probably why I like hymns. I should have been off by ages ago. Like 2 hours. You've been. Why did you leave me for ages? Like without talking so much, and now you're all talking, and it's great. And I really must get off because I said 2 hours, and I have. My wife's probably asleep actually, but you know, I probably need to kind of close this down and stuff, and have some rest and sleep because I've got a busy day tomorrow again. So love it. Thank you for coming along. Appreciate your being here. It's amazing. Sorry, sorry, Simon. Sorry for keeping you up. Didn't mean to. Appreciate you being here. Massively appreciate you being here. It's really good. It's really been fun. It's nice that James is apologising now. Don't make me feel bad. You're just trying to make me stay longer. Oh, I can't stay a bit later. No, lovely having you here. It's well worth doing this. I'll do it again next month, last Friday of the month. We'll keep doing it. We'll see what happens, what works. It's nice to catch up with people and just have a natter. And if some people want to hang around, there's been some people in there who haven't chatted, and that's fine. Lots of people we call lurkers who just want to kind of listen in and have a bit of company for a couple of hours. Not the worst thing in the world, is it? I do that myself. I rarely chat in streams. I just listen to it and read the chat, and that's fine for me. I talk enough as it is, don't I? Only talking for 2 hours and 13 minutes. Anyway, that's not like me. Thank you so much. I'll do a slow shutdown of the stream. So what I'll do is I'll do my famous now goodbye that I do, and what we'll do is I'll flick the screen and it'll go over to like a stream ending with a bit of music, and that's just to give it a little bit of an ending to it so people can kind of be signing off. I don't have to rush off at any kind of speed, so it'll be a bit of, and all this music is a bit of music by a guy called Harris Heller, and he makes license-free, kind of free-to-use music you can use on YouTube and streams without getting taken down. But he does do some decent. It's kind of usually quite lo-fi kind of that sort of stuff that you get quite a lot of streams. It's great hearing. No, just really nice to hear from you all. Nice that you've come in. Appreciate this is taking some time out yourself. Come with a list of questions next time. But anything you ever need to ask, you don't have to wait to the streams. You don't have to do that. I'm easy enough to find. You can always drop me a message or an email. Go on Facebook. My profile's public. You can just drop me a message anytime you like, and I'll happily answer questions. Until obviously I've got like a 10 million subscribers, and I've got a whole team of people, and I don't even exist anymore. It's all AI. That'll be it next time. But yeah, so I'm gonna chuck the music on. I'm gonna say, before I do that, actually, I'm just gonna say, you know what I'm gonna say? I'm gonna say, oh, I should do this. Thank you for joining me. Had to throw that in. So take care of yourselves. More importantly, take care of each other. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.